इतना सफर है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, one and all. Thank you so much for joining us today on a special Sunday episode. Franchise India, the brand which was established in 1999, helping all the international national brands expanding their business with us. We are helping all potential business buyers to get advice from our panel member as well as our business consultant. Franchise India promotes all the brands which come from education, retail, service, F&B, and etc. Today we welcome you to this special Sunday episode, and we welcome our panel member, management team of Franchise India, Sonia ma'am, and Gaurav sir will be joining us shortly. This is a special episode, and today we'll talk about the brand as well as our panel member would be sharing their insights and views about the industry. The brand of the day today is a Retail Star. It's a one-stop solution for all your grocery retail verticals. And we welcome Mr. Ravish Kumar, who is the founder, talking about his business idea, and he'll be sharing his journey with us. Thank you so much, Ravish, for joining us today. We are delighted to have you on board, and we are ready to get information about.
So my screen is visible to every one of you. So I'm just starting it out. Can you people able to see my screen?
Ravish is white actually.
All right, you are sharing. Let me just try and share screen. So this is PowerPoint presentation, sharing this. So is that
Yeah, now we can see. Thank you so much.
Now you can see, right? So at Retail Star, we started in 2016, right? It has been quite a journey. So because I'm from a software industry, so I thought that there is a, I mean, huge delay in technology adoption with the retail industry, right? So we started with, you know, uh, point of sale system, and we intended to sell it to the people, but once we tried to give it to certain peoples, then we realized that they are not competent enough to be using that kind of technology. So we went ahead and started one of our store, right? So and in that journey, where we have reached is that now we are offering 100% managed grocery outlets with genuine and realistic returns, right? And right now we are collaborating with the people who have spaces or some sort of money and have some sort of commitment, where we can eliminate the bottlenecks. We can eliminate the discomforts, and the bottleneck is the theft in these stores, and then is inventory management, then procuring, and all that kind of stuff. Because comparing this with any other retail industry, this is very extensive one, because in this we are dealing with probably 350 brands, 10,000 SKU. So it is beyond individuals to manage all these things in an efficient way. So this is one of our store in sector 35, and we even initially made some losses in our first store. Then we went down to make a new outlet in Chandigarh, measuring 4,000 square feet, sector 22, and it's still running. This is in business for almost 3 years now. At this point of time, we have stores in J&K and in Chandigarh, which is my hometown. So let's see what are the various problems with this grocery retail, because at this point of time, everybody wants to win the grocery business, because people are seeing this as a recession proof business. Whatsoever happens, the grocery store will always be running. Your foods can go out, your clothings can go out, and every other business can go out because of different scenarios, maybe the virus or maybe other things, right? So but then again, grocery is not an easy business to do, and we learned it hard way. Why it is not an easy business to do? Because there are 350 plus brands. That means you have Nestle, Unilever, Parle-G, Britannia, and the list goes on, right? And this is something that you need to deal with when you are running a store that is only 2,000 square feet, right? And when individual is running a business, a grocery outlet, then he is facing the problem with pricing. On a day one, you talk to the vendor, you talk to the dealership that, okay, you wanted to purchase these things, at what price he will be supplying you up. You will fix some pricing and all that. But once you're a regular customer with them, they will increase the pricing, because there is no way for you to be confirming that how the, uh, at what price they are selling you the goods right now. This especially happens with the pulses, spices, and all that thing. And after that is FMCG have a wafer thin margins, right? It is not like operating your Adidas stores where your margin is 60%, 50%, and whatsoever products you are selling, they are high value, right? If you are into, let's say somebody has opened up Adidas showroom or something like that, then what happens is that even in a small time customer, you are making 1 or 2 sales, your bucket size is 3 to 5,000. In grocery, your bucket size can be from 10 rupees to 5,000 or 10,000, right? But majority of the people will be buying and in a size of 150 to 200 rupees. So after that is that So for them to be managing their affair, they have to be present in their store, because let's say somebody bought 100 packets of Maggie, right? And they just took it, put inside the store, and whenever they are not sure, somebody took 40 out of that. There is no way for them to be, realizing that those many packets has been lost, because they are not entering those bought goods into the system. Yes, they are doing the sale based on their point of sale system, but nobody is actually doing an entry. And there are reasons why they are not doing an entry, because this is a very tedious job. Just to input all the items that individual is having in their store, they have to first build an inventory list, which is probably 10,000 strong products. You have to save the barcodes, you have to give them name, you have to save their MRPs and all that. And then with the time, these barcodes keep on changing, their prices keep on changing. So on average, if somebody have to do that inefficiently, not with efficiency, then their cost may be 50,000 to 1 lakh rupee per store. Still, they are not able to do it. Then, right, and after, your regular stores, they don't really have any marketing tools, right? They don't send a SMS to their customer. They don't really record who is coming to their store. We do all kind of these things, right? So because there is no communication, right? You are not getting a SMS from your neighborhood grocery store that they have these discounts and deal running on their products, right? And end of the day, there is not even a reporting method, right? How they do is that they count the cash, whatsoever cash is collected. They don't really have insight on what products are moving fast, what products are moving slow, whether to keep a certain product, whether not to keep that particular product. So a lot of these things are missing in all these stores. These things are available with your only Reliance Fresh, your Easy Day. You'll always get a message from Easy Day that they are giving this discount. They have celebrating, seven big days. You'll get it from your big basket and all that, but not from your neighborhood stores, because they simply cannot afford it, right? Because and then the last one is you're finding a trained staff, right? For a regular store, finding a trained staff is right? They are not actually the softwares of today's era. They are probably the software that was good in year 2000 to 2004. The technology changed a lot. So these are the basic problem, and actually the list is pretty longer, right? But let's not get there. So we have come up with a solution, right? And it is not that we anticipated those problems on the day one, but as we entered this segment, right? So the first is that we have a most efficient and effective billing system. Ours is only store where we have a tablet installed for a customer side. My staff is making a billing on their computer screen, and there is a secondary screen for the customer who is also seeing that whatsoever is being scanned. If somebody told us to remove that product, he is seeing that a product is actually getting removed from their shopping cart. Then we have this automated inventory control and purchase management. Our purchase is purely driven based on how much we are selling. Maybe 3,000 Maggie packets in last 2 months. So we try to maintain an inventory for 15 days. What we'll do, we'll divide 3,000 by 4, and then round it off to cartoon size, whatsoever cartoon size it is. So depending on weather change, in winter your cold cream sells more, and in summer your cold drink sells more. The system automatically optimized what kind of inventory you need. The only pre-requirement for that is that you have to enter whatsoever you are purchasing into your system. Then we have this automated GST calculation. So our advantage comes down that because we are maintaining the list of 10,000 products, And all those 10,000, that list is being maintained at a centralized location. So there is no cost on the individual store for maintaining that list. So whatsoever these costs, I was talking about 50,000 to 1 lakh for every individual store. So we are eliminating that cost. So then again is when we started it off, right, our margins were probably 5% poorer as compared to the people who were already in this industry. But with the time we realized, we reached out to company now or grocery supermarket store. We have this CRM, built-in CRM system where we do all kind of promo activity. We even send the acknowledgement to every customer who is making a shopping. Let's say a customer, because we treat their phone number as a primary key, because phone numbers are always unique. So whenever customer come, we ask them their phone number. When they give us a phone number system, if that particular customer is already in our system, we just display their name, location, and everything, and he feels happy about that. And then is the check on theft and reduction in expiry. So how that does happen is that expiry is being controlled because our system monitors that what product we will be selling, what products are fast moving, what should be ordered more, what should be ordered less, and all that. And for the theft check, right, nobody is actually monitoring the cameras all the time. So your only method is that whatsoever is entering, let's say we bought 100 units of some product and somebody stole 40 units of that, right? But because we entered into the system, now our computers know that, okay, we got 100 units, we sold 60, 40 units are still available in the store. It will not make a new request for those products to be purchased. So the staff member will come to know, or the store manager will come to know that, okay, this product is not on the shelf and why the system is not ordering this up. So that is an automated check. So somebody have to declare that product that, okay, we lost those 40 items. So every SKU that is lost is accounted for. And this is what we are actually offering. We have the billing system, which is state of the art, and there is no one like us, right? And we would, the people who will be interested in knowing this will be able to give the demo of that. Then is the accounting. So we do everything in black and white. Every penny that is being spent in our store is being accounted for. Even if we are providing our staff with the samosas and all that, somebody have to make an entry of that into our system that we spent 100 rupees on plumbing, we spent 300 rupees on purchasing samosas, and then comes is the GST, right? It is very difficult for doing the GST thing. And in fact, people are not able to do it. Everybody is filing GST in a retail store based on some sort of judgments, not actually on what product they bought, how much GST slab they were falling in, because there are 10,000 SKUs in that. And your GST starts from 0, then 12, 18, 28, and then on the cold drinks, there is an additional 12% cess. But in our case, we are probably spending more than 50,000 to 1 lakh to maintaining all these things, their HSN number and all that. But we are doing it at a one location. So any store that we are adding to the system, they don't really have to be bearing that cost of accounting, that maintaining HSN number and everything. Then we have the CRM. All these things are all built into a one system. Whenever somebody is shopping, he's getting the text SMS that thank you for shopping. You shopped for this much amount and you saved this much money in that. Then again, if somebody is not coming to our store for, let's say, somebody has not visited our store for 3 months, then what we'll do is we'll send them a 4-digit promo code that, okay, please come back to our store. We are giving you a 5% additional discount. Let's say if somebody is have not visited our store for more than 6 months, we'll send them a promo code that, okay, this is a one-time promo code. You come to our store, do a shopping, we'll give you a 10% additional. So a lot of these kind of activities do happen. Then we maintain the graphs that how many new customers we are getting, how many total customers are there, and how many of them are repeat in that. So this is all into CRM and reporting. And this is the financial part where I actually want to spend my time. So I'm not sure whether you are aware about this, but these Reliance Fresh, Easy Days, and Birla More stores are into doing sale, which is probably 90 lakh plus. So 60 is their minimum sale where that they should be doing on a monthly basis to make those stores viable, right? In our case, this is not the scenario. So what exactly happened is our margin remains at this 15%, right? And let's say we'll start with the very basic thing. Let's say we are making a sale of 5 lakh rupees, which is somewhere around 15 to 20,000 on a daily basis. Though generally even a small booth does that, right? Our margins remains at this 15%, so it will generate us at 75,000. And our running expenses will remain around 1 lakh rupee. And it doesn't really matter what you do, but there is always some theft. There is always some bottles that will be broken. There will always be some products that will be expired. So we are able to reduce it down to 0.5%. That is 50 paisas when you compare it to 100 rupee. But we take it as a 1%. So if we are doing a sale of 5 lakh, our expenses are 1 lakh rupee for running that particular store, and our theft and brokerage is 5,000. So we are probably at a loss of 30,000 rupees. And what we are offering that if somebody is coming on board and spending a crore rupee with us to set up a state-of-the-art store, we give them a minimum guarantee of 1% return. But then again, this guarantee is not for everyone. It is based on the evaluation whether that particular location have a scope to be able to generate us that kind of money or not, right? So generally what happens is that 1 crore store is able to make a 30 lakh sale on a monthly basis. And with the increase in sale, our margins also increases. So at 30 lakh, our margins are somewhere around 4.8 lakh. Our expenses have increased from 1 lakh to 1.4 lakh. And our theft and breakage remains this 30,000 rupee. So our margin after expenses 3.1. And because now over here minimum guarantee is covered, so what we do is that we divide whatsoever money we are making from that store 50-50. 50% goes to the franchisee, 50% will go with the franchisor. And so if somebody is having a store where he could be getting 1 lakh rupee rental, then their break even is somewhere around 15 lakh. 15 lakh is more like your 50,000 sales on a daily basis. Generally, every store, every supermarket store is able to do that. But problem with other people is that most of the people are going out of business because they have to deal with the rental, they have to deal with the expensive staff. They cannot really control the inventory. They are not really knowing what products they should be promoting, what product they should not be promoting. And we expect a well-executed store to be generating 60 lakh in sales within a year's time. So on a 60 lakh sale, our margins remain at 17%. Margin percentage is 17%. So our net margin will be 10 lakh 20,000. Because we are making a sale of 60, our theft and breakage will be 60,000. Our running expenses will be 2 lakh. So our net margin will remain 7.6. So that gets divided into two parts. This is 3.8 lakh each. And And this is where we see ourselves. We are not very optimistic that we'll be able to reach up, we'll be able to do the sales compared to the Reliance Fresh or other supermarket store operating in that size. We have to be realistic about that. Those stores are having a higher, operation costs for sure, but their margins are also higher. So I'm just moving ahead to the next slide. So this is how our investment costs stack up. This is for store outlet that is 3,000 to 4,000 square feet in area. And the total investment in such store will be 1.24 lakh. We'll be spending somewhere around 40 lakh in the setup, which will include almost everything from your paint job to your carpeting. So over here, we'll be launching, we'll be charging a launch fee that is 2 lakh plus GST, and there will be an additional fee of 10 lakh plus GST, which comes down to 11 lakh and 80,000 for setting up the store. Actual cost of the setup can be between 40 to 50 lakh, but because we are doing it on, on a repeat basis, we have set vendors where we get, purchase the things at cheapest possible price. So if an individual have to set up a similar store, they will be probably end up spending 50 to 60 lakh, but we are able to do it in 40 lakh. Now what happens is that for whatsoever reason, if someday you have to exit, you feel that the franchisee feel that they don't really want to continue, or the store is not probably generating them the kind of return they would have expected, or they have some other business to do, right? They can always claim 80% of the money that they have spent in inventory and a setup cost. Because inventory is, we'll take out the inventory from the store, we'll move it to another store, and we'll sell it off from there. So that's all fine. 20% is a bare, minimalistic cost, because we have to take it from there, put it other entry system and all that. Then there is a cost of 40 lakh. 40 lakh is for the setup. So if a franchise or individual store owner has to shut down their store, then this 40 lakhs get, probably will be generating them not more than 10 lakh, because, whatsoever racks somebody have bought on billing system, they have purchased, maybe electrical products they have purchased, your refrigerators, your air conditioning and all that. But in our case, we'll take them out, we'll put in a new, we'll repaint it, and we'll put it in a new store. And so we are actually not losing any money in that as well. So 20% is a very much, a very reasonable cost, or that the franchisee has to be bearing it up. So because launch advertising is something that is already done and dusted, so that is non-refundable. Franchisee fees is something that we are charging for our expertise, because we are not charging any money on a monthly basis for running the store. We'll only be making money when the store will be making money. Then the last thing is your solar power plant. We did set up, I think this is a new thing that we are adding to our stores now. And based on a location, this is a very viable option. We have one store in sector 35 Chandigarh. So we have set up a 20 kilowatt solar power plant that is generating us a 90 to 100 unit on a daily basis. So we would like that to be put up on every store, because that is additionally making our store electricity free. Our average consumption in an individual store that is 3,000 square feet is between 100 to 130 units. So if we are able to generate 100 units on a daily basis, we are only paying for the 30 units, which is almost nothing. So because your investment is also getting you a return, right? Let's say somebody, we are asking people to be with us for a period of 18 months. So somebody invested 1.24 lakh with us. His 80 lakh is secure, because that is, we will refund that particular company, particular party, whenever we'll be taking back the inventory and the assets. So you are also generating a new asset, which is 10 lakh rupee for a 20 kilowatt hour solar power plant. So that will remain with you. That will not be taken out. Then is your MG collected. MG is a minimum guarantee. You'll be also getting paid 1 lakh minimum. So your net generation will be somewhere around 1 crore 8 lakh rupee over a period of 18 months. So you initially invested 1.24 crore and you are getting it 1.08 crore. Yes, you are losing money. You are losing money in the interest that you would have got 8% interest on your investment while laying in the bank. But then again, in bank, people would have not been generating more than 8%. Here, the opportunity is to generate 12% to maybe 20, 30, 40%, right? And whenever somebody is planning to invest with us, they must make up their mind. There are no exponential returns in these kind of businesses, but they are very stable. They are recession proof, right? If you are having your own asset and you are not really willing to give it on a rental, then this makes a perfect sense, because the business will generate you somewhere around 12 to 18% at minimum, even if it is not doing very great. So this is I'm taking you to the breakup of this, right? This is how your investment sounds like, or your setup cost. Your setup cost is somewhere around 28%, and this is your inventory cost. And franchisee fee says your solar panel is something that is refundable, and your launch advertising is this one, 2.36 lakh. So we do business in these two models, right? And sorry, I have to take this away, but never mind. I think I just opened up some other. So a franchisee owned, franchisee operated. I mean, this is not really the model that we are actually looking, but we do operate based on the location evaluation, where we are also making our investments. Then the second one is the most popular one, which is franchisee owned and company operated. Then third one is company owned and company operated. So second is the model where most of the people will be interested, and this is the one that makes more sense. So now you don't have to be thinking about Reliance Fresh, Easy Day, D-Mart store, or something like that. They are all together in a different league. We might be purchasing the things at 20% of markup. They probably be purchasing the things at 35 or 40% markup, right? But they have other expenses. So you have to see wheresoever you are planning to open up a store, can you cater to 1,000 family? If somebody can cater to 1,000 family, then you are making a good money there. 1,000 family on average, a family on average makes a purchase of 3,000 to 5,000 on a monthly basis. If you're having a 1,000 family associated with you, that effectively means you are doing a sale of 30 lakh to 30 lakh to 50 lakh. So let's consider the least possible here. Even in 1,000 family, we are generating the 30 lakh sale, and the cost of operation of that store will never ever be more than 1.5 lakh. And we can guarantee for that, right? And at 30 lakh, our margins stands at 4.5 lakh. And then from 4.5 lakh, if we are reducing our cost of operation, which is 1.5 lakh, we are still having 3 lakh spare. 3 lakh get divided into two parts, that is 1.5 each. That effectively means you are getting somewhere around 18% return if you can cater to 1,000 families. So what is our divider, right? We are probably the only realistic chain who is doing everything online. whatsoever sale is being done, any of the store, or what's the store that an individual own, you're always seeing that particular sale on your phone, real time. Your GST calculation is real time. Everything is centralized. That gives us an advantage of reducing the cost of managing the SKU, managing the barcode, report generation, and everything. It is just like that. We set up the store and we are ready to go. And then this is fully automatic. Fully automatic being that there is no one making the decisions what needs to be purchased. It is the computer based on what we are purchasing and what we are selling. We can make an error in doing some judgment, but computers don't do that. So I've been talking about this, where our competition is. Our competition is probably from the local, let's say you are in some location, there are 10, 15 small time Kirana stores are there, right? Those are our competition. We are not really looking to compete with Reliance Fresh or most or Easy Day stores, right? It's not like that we cannot compete with them, but whenever we try to compete with them, that if the other party starts bleeding, we might not be able to bleed. So when we compare ourselves to our primary competition, which are the local grocery stores, we have a purchase advantage. We are buying the things at 5 to 7% price that is lower than them. We are more organized. We have a CRM system. We can interact with the customers. And we will certainly be having a stores that looks better, feel better. And because we are doing the purchase, which is 5 to 7% cheap compared to these guys, we can surely be selling it at a price which can be 5% or 10% below the MRP. So, now let's make some realistic growth projections. So our growth projection is basically based on how many number of families you can cater. Because I live in a Chandigarh, so there are probably 4,000 families in a one sector. So even if somebody can cater to a half of the sector, then their margins in that particular store will be 6 to 7 lakh. Sorry, profit will be 6 to 7 lakh. Margin will be 6 to 8 lakh. But depending on a different kind of locations, even if somebody can reach out to 1,000 families, their store can be making 3 lakh rupee in profitability. 1,500 family, 4 to 4 lakh in profitability. And this is something that we should be looking at, that how many regular routine customer can we get from a given location. This is what we make our projections. So I'm just going to summarize this. Retail starts at low risk and medium return. Why I'm calling it low risk and a medium return is because even if our store is failing, our losses are minimalistic. We are spending 1.25 crore and we are going back with 1.08 crore. I think in a failed business, that is very good, right? And why I'm saying medium return is that I've been seeing presentation where somebody is telling that they have a 50% return, they're having 100% return or something like that, where people are getting their money back in 1 year's time. I mean, those business doesn't really appeals to me or to anyone who is actually looking to make an investment. If somebody is having that good of a business model, they don't really need a franchisee. They can always get a money from the VCs. They can always get a money from the bank to be able to, expand their businesses. And then why it is low risk? Because this is recession proof. Doesn't matter if we are in a recession, if we are in a virus age, if we are in whether we invited or there is a property slump, there is some other problems, whether there are riots or something else, the grocery store is something that will always be allowed to open. So then again, at Retail Star, we have a system to run a grocery store with the least expenses. If you will be trying to run a grocery store yourself in a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot area, your expenses will be somewhere around 3 lakh to 4 lakh. We are able to do that in 1.5 lakh rupees. We at Retail Star doesn't charge any monthly fee to run the business. Now I'm putting a stress on this. We are not charging any monthly fee to run the business. Rather, we will only make our money if the franchisee will be profitable. So what does it mean? That we will only be choosing the locations where we see that we can generate some sort of profit. It is not that somebody is coming to us that, okay, I want to set up a franchisee, and we will say, hey, new lead, and we need to close, we need to make money out of it. Because we will only make money if the business will be profitable. We'll give you a 12% return, though only on a location that seems good for profit. This is not to everyone, right? We'll clearly tell the people who are trying to get associated with us that how much they should be expecting from their locations. And then at Retail Star, we will run your business for minimum of 18 months. Let's say we started your business today, and we are not able to generate money out of your store even after the 18 months. Then we are losing money in that particular store, even if there is no MG, because we are spending our energies to make things happen. We'll be spending money into the marketing. We'll be spending money into making the supplies to that store. So 18 months is the time that we will be running your business. If we are still not able to make a profit out of that, we'll call it quit. And we will refund the money as we will have mentioned in our agreement, which is 80% of your fixed assets and the inventory cost. So I think next point is same, right? We'll take back all the movable assets, which is your racks, your computer system, your billing tables, your refrigerators, your air conditioning, your lighting, and we'll try to refurbish those things, and we'll be putting it a new store, new location. So 20% depreciation, when we are telling you that we will only charge you a 20% depreciation, even in that scenario, we are not losing money, because we'll spend some money, taking out the assets from there, refurbishing them, and that will not be more than 20%. So now then is that few people will be asking us that what will be the best store model? I think the best store model will be with our experience, right? With our experience of running some stores in J&K, you'll be amazed to know that we even have a store in Poonch, that is Pakistan border, 200 kilometers from Jammu, and it's a hilly road, and it takes 5 to 6 hours, even by a car, by starting from Jammu to reach that location. Why we are able to operate is because we have a franchisee there who is willing to supervise that store. We are paying him 1%. We have made an arrangement with that particular guy that whatsoever stock we are supplying, it is your guarantee warranty that you have to make sure that nobody is stealing that up, and we will pay you 1% of the sale. So we recently set this store up in sector 35B, 365 and 366 SEO on the Himalaya Marg, almost. This is in the heart of city. So this is how the look and feel of our store is, right? If you try to see this store, we haven't spent much on the paint job. It is minimalistic. We have the lighting. All these lights are reusable. We have put up air conditioning unit. These are the 3-phase air conditioning unit that they are efficient, and lesser number of unit means that even if we have to move the ACs out, then our cost should be on a lease side. Then comes is our primary investment in this is that the racks. We are using the most premium grade, and we are getting it at average price that you will be seeing it in a market when individual will be going to make a purchase of a racks. They are all white, the top grade that one can get in India, flexible. The height is good, durability is good, and then we have the pricing strips and all that. And few more pictures, right? I mean, we just starting this out, so this is how it looks from outside, and this is the entry point, entry and exit. Further inside, more inside, we are even keeping a sufficient ample space for the people to be moving. We don't really have an empty space inside our racks because our aim is to put more and more variety in the least amount of space that is available to us. Every corner of the store is defined, like soap and deodorants, cleaning and laundry, shaving is on other side, soft drink is on this side, confectionery on the left side. These are our billing counters. We have a state-of-art billing system. We'll not discuss on that at this point of time. This is how we put our pricing. Nobody does like that, right? Whenever you go to Reliance Fresh or in Easy Day store, they put up their pricing inside the strips, right? And sometimes customers are confused whether it is a price of the item above or an item down. And then again, the pricing is very small. Over here, we have put up the pricing by making it an arrow. And we have a very unique and efficient system of doing that. Like this product is Himalaya Anti-Dandruff Shampoo Cream 100 ml. Now there is an arrow upside. So that clearly mentioned that the MRP on this product is 80 rupees and we are selling it at 72 rupees, right? Similar way, we have a Head and Shoulder. The price is 275. We are selling it at 248. So I think this is our USP. Even the most premium store cannot really be able to do that. Maybe they should be able to do that, right? Maybe in future, but they are not doing at this point of time. So every product in our store has to be labeled this way. And the cost of doing that for your regular store is very high. In our case, it is negligible. We have a wireless scanner. We have a one printer. Somebody is moving to the shelf. They are just scanning the product on a one shelf and then give a command from there. And there is a printout that is taken out on your regular laser printer. Then they're cutting the sheet and putting those items, putting those pricing here. So that's it from my side, right? And now we can probably switch over to something, the actual Excel sheet.
Thank you, Mr. Ravish Kumar. I think this presentation was very elaborate that you gave. And I also like to thank all our viewers who have joined today on this Sunday edition. And friends, I'd like to maybe start with saying that Franchiseindia is a catalyst and it's an endeavor to advise each one of you on prospective business opportunities that you see. And at the same time, I also maybe advise people to make a responsible choice of making decisions and do self-evaluation, look at the industry growth, look at how your markets behave in that particular category, look at the competition, and do a very detailed brand assessment of the company that you choose to undertake interest in. So, Ravishi, I'll pick up some questions. I saw a lot of questions which have come in. And first and foremost, maybe if you like to start with the business model itself, we did understand that the current model that you are looking to maybe expand is a FOCO model where the franchisee makes the investment and the entire responsibility of running the day-to-day operation lies with the company, which is you. Now, in this case, my first question would be one on the location. And I saw that on the last slide where it was mentioned that there's a 12% guaranteed return on the investment. Now, even this guaranteed return is only on locations which will do well. And while the investment is same across all locations. Now, what happens to the locations which are not doing well or would not do well? Because here the franchisee is not in the running seat. You're operating the business, and he's not running the day-to-day operations, and he has no operational role, so to say. So how would the investment of somebody whose location has been assessed by you and not doing well still have the risk being hedged? One question. And second, what kind of assessment do you take when you go ahead and selecting a location?
So basically, first thing is that we'll be very clear with people. Let's say somebody came from Ambala, right? Somebody came from Ambala. He's a hotel guy over there, right? So he's got somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 square feet area, right? And they have been probably looking for a grocery store only. So we did an evaluation on their location, right? And we find it to be a good location for various reasons. There is a significant population in and around that particular area. There is no store of the comparable size in that particular area. There is hardly any competition in that area from Easy Day stores or Reliance Fresh stores, right? And more than that, you have to always, give a consideration to big ticket store like Walmart store, your Metro store, and all that store. So then a second part of this question is that let's say we have given somebody an assurance that because it is us who is actually doing the evaluation, and we feel that this particular store should be generating this much. Then if tomorrow that doesn't really happen, then the person who have invested money will be getting that minimum guarantee. If somebody's, I'm not sure if my screen is being still shared or not.
No.
But no, it is not. But that's why the minimum guarantee is, because we will give a minimum guarantee only at a location that we see that, yes, there is a viable business opportunity over here. If it is a mistake on our part, then you should not be the one who should be suffering it out. So we are covering that part with the minimum guarantee.
Okay, now I'll also maybe take up on the minimum guarantee, because I did see some of our viewers talk about that. Now, minimum guarantee, how is that paid? Because the investment upfront is close to 1.4 odd lakhs, which we talked about. And how is the investment of the investor de-risked? Are there bank guarantees which are being given, PDCs being given, and how long does it take after the outlet starts operating for the company to evaluate the future of the store? What kind of sales can be predicted?
Yes.
And how is the investor secured on the investment which he's making with you?
So I think when I was talking, I talked franchisee owned, company operated, but franchisee monitored. So even when the store is being operated by the company, we want the franchisee to be involved all the time for the best results, right? Because no employee can do what the franchisee will be able to do, because he is the one who is actually interested in making profit out of that store. Whatsoever inventory is being put up in the store, that is in a black and white. The control on that inventory, the keys of that particular store, in most of the cases will remain with the franchisee. So if somebody is invested 1 crore, 40 lakh assets are being put up there. And we are not very stubborn that you have to give us money. I mean, these are the few flexibility that we can talk to the people who will be willing to make an investment. If they can purchase the same goods that we want to be put up in a store, they are free to do that. They can procure it themselves. So then is that how that money is secure. That money is secure because the control on all the inventory that are there in store will always be with the franchise. If somebody have made an investment of 1 crore, he is holding the keys to that 1 crore. Second is MG. For 18 months, whenever we are doing a MG with somebody, let's say we have a minimum guarantee of 1 lakh, we'll be putting up the check number. We'll be issuing the 18 checks of 1 lakh each for that particular location. We'll mention those numbers, post-dated checks on a monthly basis, which is a minimum guarantee to be paid to the franchisee. So these are the two ways we are securing. First is that franchise is having control over the assets and the inventory.
Sure. So when we talk about minimum guarantee of 12%, now this 12% is on 1.2 crore of investment being made by him, or certain part of the
Not
investment?
certain part, which is the assets and inventory, because he is making an investment into the advertisement, launch advertisement. He is making an investment into putting up a solar system wheresoever it is feasible, right? That solar, your photovoltaic system is an asset, right? That will be built in the name of the party, whosoever is, taking a franchisee. So it is an already an asset generated for that particular person. Not many people are aware about this, but by putting a solar system, you are actually, reducing your electrical expenses by half.
Sure.
You're putting a 10 lakh rupee into, and so because I'm not here to sell the solar system at this point of time, but this is something a very good investment for the commercial businesses.
But these can also be rented if the investment is not being done on, this is a big infrastructure investment.
Yes,
Which is done. So these are
right.
also rented and are also financed in most of the cases.
Sorry, you have to repeat that. You are
I
saying
think these
that
are
whether
also
we should
sometimes
take a look
rented. Rented.
at.
So the solar system that you talked about, so in many cases, these can also be rented or financed if somebody wants to take.
It is always finance, right? You can probably get a loan of 20 lakh on a 10 lakh solar system.
Okay. See, another, I was doing some calculation. Now, when we talk about this 12 crore, this 12% of return on 1.24 of investment, which only takes into consideration, you mentioned the asset and the inventory. Now, this is close to about almost 1 crore of the investment, and the return of 12% would mean about 12 lakhs is the minimum guarantee that he would get in 1 year.
Yes.
Right. So even if I take 5 years, he would, at the best, in maybe not a good situation, he will end up getting maybe 60 lakhs back of 1.24 of the investment being made. So my question to you is, what is the term of the agreement being signed with the investor? And what if there is no improvement? One exit option that you gave is if the investor does not want to run and he wants to exit, you give him maybe 80% of the investment back. And the other is for reasons the company is not able to operate or location is not doing well. So in both these scenarios, the return that he would get is 80%, or there's a different return that he would get in both these circumstances?
So in both these circumstances, the return will be the same, whether we quit or whether the franchisee is making, calling us a quit. But the terms are different. When we call it quick, we are doing the immediate return.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever franchisee is calling us to quit, then we are taking a 6 months time, because we will take the assets out, we will place it at some other location, we will take the inventory out, we will sell it, put it in another store, and we will sell it from there. Because end of the day, we also need to generate the cash back. It is not something that we will be having that kind of money to return every investor that, for whatsoever reason, let's say 5 people came to us that they want their money back, right? So in that scenario, they have to give, that will be mentioned in our agreement, where our, time frame for doing that is 6 months, because assets needs to be picked up from there, inventory needs to be picked up from there, it needs to be moved to another store, and it needs to be sold from that particular store so that the money can be generated back. It is just that individual store owner cannot do that, because we are running multiple stores. We can take the stock out from one store, put it in another store, and without losing any money, we are getting it back.
It helpful for all to understand. And you want to even talk about the term of the agreement as well?
Yes, basically, this will be initially a 5-year agreement, right? And for whatsoever reason, if somebody is calling it, let's say the store is doing good, sometimes people might feel that if they would have been running the store by themselves, and they would have made a better return on that, which is actually not the case. But then again, you don't really control what people are thinking, right? So our agreement will prevent the party to rent the same place to another grocery store or run a grocery store at that particular location.
Okay. Now, in a scenario where the investor only gets his 12%, and by the end of 5th year, his entire investment or return on the investment is still not, I would say, capitalized or leveraged. What do we do in such a situation where the agreement has come to a close?
In such a situation, he will still be getting the 80% back. But then again, the company will probably be not taking it to that 5-year period, because we will be losing money, right? There can be a scenario where we would like to have that, right? Let's say we are having a big store that is in 7,000 or 10,000 square feet area. And even if it is not doing that great, but it is at least generating us sales. Those sales increase our purchase power. Purchase power means even just having that particular store on board is giving us a 2% extra across the board. That is a big plus for us. So there can be reason to keep it running for a longer. But then again, I don't really see this to be happening with a small time store who are not doing that great, because in that case, there will be an expiry. Because when the products are not, this is the FMCG, fast moving consumer goods. When the products are not quickly moving out of the shelf, they tend to expire. When there is expiries happening, so we'll be losing more than 1% that we have factored in.
Sure. Which another question which I want to pick, because I did see inquiries coming from locations even outside Tri-City and north of India. And especially maybe in businesses like grocery, fresh fruit and vegetables, supply chain is a bigger problem, and so is vendor relationships. And most of the companies that we see, which are regional players, have consolidated their position in the region, or they've created a cluster within their regions. What is your rollout strategy? You want to perhaps maybe consolidate within Tri-City? You want to expand outside?
No, I'll tell you, right? At this point of time, right? Let's say I'm already dealing with the queries coming from Lucknow, Trivandrum, and all these kind of locations, right? But we are just noting down their phone numbers. We are telling them we are only interested in operating north of Delhi at this point of time, right? If there can be a people who 4 or 5 people in that particular location on a single location, then we can probably plan it out. But not for an individual store. If somebody is looking to open up an individual store, then because we have to provide the whole supply. So I cannot be providing a supply to Lucknow, which is a 650 kilometer from Chandigarh, for a single store. So I have to my company needs to be setting up supply center over there. And because we are getting a lot of queries already, we're getting queries from Jalandhar, from Ludhiana, from Ambala, from Karnal, from Patiala, and even from a small time markets, Moga, Bathinda, and all these. And we see these small markets, right? Not tier 3 or 4 city as the places where we can make more profits. Because in these locations, we don't really have to give a much of a discount thing to bring people to our store. Our experience, look and feel, and all that is sufficient enough to be able to do that.
Okay, great. See, another question which I, because you did talk about, the margins in this category are very, very low. So even if when a franchisee is operating by himself, it's sometimes very difficult to make maybe, the operating expenses or even cover that, because this is a volume business. So unless you have bigger volume, it is very difficult to maybe see the bottom line maybe in black. And when it becomes a FOCO model, so company will also have its own operating cost, which is management cost. Do you see this viable, company operating, considering the margins which the industry has?
So I think this is a very good question, right? And I started my first store in 2016, right? And because we are only from an IT base, we are the IT guys. We know how to make softwares. We actually didn't know how to do the purchasing, how to actually operate the store, how to actually manage the customer. So even in a one store, we lost somewhere around 40 lakh. We opened up in a Mohali, some 700 square feet store. So that was a big loss, right? But we learned from there. We learned that we need to our bucket size. We need to increase our purchase size, because whenever you are purchasing it from the companies, nobody will give you the margins when you are purchasing the goods and lose. You always have to be buying the products which is at least one tempo size or something like that. And as for the margins are concerned, I think our advantage is not really with the margins. Our advantage is with the cost that we have been able to cut down. I have 2 stores in Chandigarh, one in sector 22, one in sector 35. Even a sweeper in my store is capable of doing the billing. it is such a convenient and easy to do billing system. And the cost of each employee at my store in Chandigarh is somewhere around 8,000 to 12,000 rupee. I have to pay 12,000 rupee to an individual employee in Chandigarh because the boarding that is pretty high in Chandigarh. But if I am in Bathinda, if I'm in Ambala, my employee cost will never be going beyond 10,000 rupee. And every employee is replaceable.
Sure.
Let's say 5 employees leave us for some reason. We can put 5 new people. We can train them within a day's time, and they'll be doing the billing next day.
Okay. Vijay, I think before, because we are already at the end of our webinar, but I'll just take maybe 3 questions. One, because the operations are run by you, even the operating costs are on the company, which means salaries, rentals, and any kind of ongoing expenses. Are these all taken by the company, or the franchisee also has a role beyond that 1.24?
No, ma'am. The franchisee doesn't really have a roles on that. It is just that we set the limits based on our agreement, what kind of agreement we are doing with an individual, depending on the store location, right? In Bathinda, we might not be paying anybody more than 10,000. In Chandigarh, we will be inclined that yes, employees can even have 15,000 salary.
Great. So the entire operating expenses are borne by the company. Second, with your existing
No, not actually borne by the company. Operating expenses are borne by the store.
So who takes care of it? Because the entire expenses are. And what happens in a case? Because here in a FOCO model, you mentioned that 12% guaranteed return goes to the investor. What if the
guaranteed
store in the
return
first few months is not making money? Who takes care of the investment, franchisee or the company?
No, ma'am. Let me just rephrase this one, right? Let's say we started a store and that particular store is not doing good and we are making a loss of 30,000 rupee. Then it is the company who have to bear that 30,000 rupee loss and also pay the 1 lakh minimum guarantee, because it is us who is making that particular decision to open up a store there. If we see that particular scenario that this is probably not going to be profitable, we can work around some other arrangements, but then it has to be defined in advance. So the cost, employee salary and everything, electricity, any maintenance that needs to be done, that is on the store. That's why I'm calling operating expenses. Operating expenses needs to be deducted out of the store margins. And after deducting the operating expenses, whatsoever money is left, that is divided 50-50. And what we are assuring our franchisees that they are covered for a 1 lakh rupee. So they cannot, because they might have taken a loan from the bank. They have to be paying at least 8% or 9% on that. Somebody might have, few people might have to pledge even their assets where they are doing the business. So we are actually providing them the security on that part.
Okay. So which means in case there's a loss, franchisee will also be involved in paying off some percentage of that operating expense.
No. Franchisee will not be involved in that. If there is a loss, franchisee will not be involved in that. It is just that he will not be making the profit.
Okay. So
our costs
are 12% and he will not contribute anything on the operating expense.
On the loss.
All right. Very, very helpful. Second, and what kind of sales between these 2 locations that you're currently doing? What is the kind of current sales you're making? And one you mentioned is an old store which you've been operating for last 3 years, and one is a recent store which we saw the pictures of. So between these 2 stores, one, what is the gestation? How many months does it take? Because over a period of time, people would start converting from the existing store they're buying from, and they would convert to a new store. So what kind of gestation do you think that takes? And typical between these 2 formats, क्या sale एक reference के लिए अगर आप share करना?
मैं अभी आपको बताता हूँ, जो हमारा 22 सेक्टर वाला, वहाँ पे हमारी जो sales है, they are somewhere around they stagnated around 1 lakh or something like that. That effectively means our expenses on that particular store is 1.3 to 1.4 lakh rupee on a monthly basis. And we don't have a solar system set up there.
Okay.
So that is a negative in that store. 35 store, we just started it a few days, I think 4 or 5 days back only. So we are at somewhere around, we are yet to start advertising in that store. We are already at 50,000 sale. 50,000 sale means we are already generating that 1 lakh guarantee that we have given to the franchisee. That is being covered. Now, I think it is a very good scenario to discuss about the store we are having sector 22. So basically, the party who have associated with us, they actually didn't want to rent it out. So they said they put in some money, they are getting some
Sure.
sort of return into that, and they are happy with it.
Okay.
So because there might be people who are not actually want their property to be rented out. So they are saying, okay, if I'm the rental in this particular location might be 3 lakh, might be 5 lakh, might be whatever it is. Even if they are getting half of that, they are happy with it because they remain the owner of place.
Sure.
This is a scenario where in a city like Chandigarh where the price of properties are very high. A showroom in a city like Chandigarh is more like 8 to 10 crore on the ground for something like that. So if they are not willing to rent it out, they are happy that whatsoever money they are making out of that particular location, it is just a bonus for them.
Sure. And
Because
now, is
yeah.
there also a possibility, because I see some of our viewers also have properties which they own. Is there a possibility where the company takes this property on some kind of a revenue share and the investor does not invest in the overall business? Do you see that as a possibility at this point in time?
No, that is not actually because I have to be very blunt over here, right? We are not a very big company, right? And that is kind of our advantage and disadvantage as well, right? We haven't gone to the VC stage as yet, right? We are not operating a very large network. We have a coming up with a 3 store in Jammu region, and we have a 2 stores in Chandigarh. That is a 5 store. I just wanted to be clear about. I don't really want anybody to be in the dark that that they should be thinking it is a very big business. But we are very lean business. Why I'm saying lean business is that when we started, we actually didn't had any money in our bank. So our only option was to cut down on our expenses, and we did those, right? And now when we try to review the all those situations and all those scenarios, we think that if I had a money, if my company had a money in bank, I would not have taken those steps to cut it down. Now all those cost savings is our advantage, right? If I was talking at a launch on my sector 35 store to some of the people who came down there, then I just asked them to judge what should be the running operation cost of this expense. Nobody quoted me the price. They say 3 lakh, 3 to 5 lakh, something like that. And we told them our cost of operation of running this store will never be more than 1.5 lakh. And they were amazed, something like that. Where the hell you are finding these people? Because for them, that somebody who can operate the computer system has to be trained and specialized, which is not a scenario in our case. Anybody can stand at the counter. They just need to know how to hold the scanner, and they can do the billing. Yes, there is a difference in.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
please
last question
continue.
which I'll pick, and the rest of the questions I feel we can take one-on-one with many of our viewers who are coming forward. We did only talk about one of the formats, which is a bigger format, and that's 3,000 onwards of area. Is there a smaller format also available? Because not every location might be viable for putting a bigger format like this. Do you see a possibility of putting maybe a smaller format in locations which has a good captive
Yes,
audience and a good neighborhood?
yes, right. And we can even start the stores as low as 20 to 25 lakh rupees, right?
Okay.
But these will be the stores where, majority of the responsibility will lie with the franchisee.
Okay, so these
He'll
are
have the,
franchisee owned,
yeah,
franchisee operated. And the
yeah,
bigger
franchisee
format is where the company takes a responsibility of running and
responsibility.
operating.
So
Sure.
what franchisee get? He'll get the billing system. He'll get the products. He'll get every product barcoded. He don't have to do anything at his side. He'll getting the billing system. He'll get the report generation, right? He'll take care of anything that, any mishappening that is happening, that can happen at that particular store. So yes, they can be operated. Why we are willing to associate such people is that because they increase our purchase power. As our purchase power is being increased, our profits on every other store is increasing. But what kind of store the company can operate? We will probably not be operating any store more less than uh, 2,000 square feet, and 2,000 square feet store will be 50 to 60 lakh investment.
Sure. Great, very helpful, Ravishi, and thank you. I'd like to thank you for coming today on this webinar. I'd like to maybe tell our audience that Mr. Ravish Kumar is available for any questions that you want to maybe ask. If you have any properties, I did see some of you putting their properties and location along with the area. If you have any specific requirement or discussion that needs to take place and that has not been answered in this session, I would request all of you to please share your information on a hotline number which has been put on our chat box, and I would request that you share your email ID, your profile, your location, and even your property information if you have any. And we'll be more than happy to maybe reach out to Mr. Kumar and line up maybe a call or a meeting with him. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for our presentation and coming for the webinar, for all the audience.
Thank you very much.
Coming. And before we leave, do you want to give maybe one piece of advice for everyone who's listening to you?
I think the only advice from my side is I see a lot of companies who are, promising exponential return. When it comes to delivery of those, they are actually not doing much, right? So you should be very careful whenever you are, making an investment. I'll take it a little bit further, right? Because we opened up a new store in sector 35. My company is one who gave them a proposal at 1 crore. There was another company who gave them a proposal at 2 crore rupees for the same area, same thing. They were, they were even charging them the franchisee fee. But when it comes down, what they were claiming, you will have a 50% return, you will have a 60% return. And when it comes down to the agreement, nothing in that. So be very watchful about that what the other party is claiming. Be very realistic. There are no businesses that can give you an exponential return. You will be lucky if you'll be getting 18% or 24% return in today's time. So be realistic. Don't expect too much of a return. And these kind of businesses do take time to get off the ground.
Very relevant, Mr. Kumar. And this is a word of caution also that even we would like to tell all of you. Whenever you take a decision of buying a business, kindly do your thorough investigation, due diligence, maybe visit the existing outlet. You can spend some hours at the outlet, see how the outlets are doing, meet maybe other franchisees in case, the brand has franchises, and only then decide which business is viable for that location. And also understand your own personal fit, the market, the competition, the brand that you're investing in, and maybe the time that you want to put in any business. Only then take a decision, responsible decision of buying a business. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. Over to you, Archana, now.
So thank you so much, all our dear participants who have joined us today. Thank you, Mr. Ravish Kumar, for presenting your business ideas as well as giving us the advice on how to select a business. We would like to extend our thanks to our panel member, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary, for sharing insights and advice again on franchisee as well as on industry. You can connect with us at our business hotline number, which is 97176-83838. We do welcome your suggestions, feedback. Share your detailed profile on the same number. That will definitely help us in improving our processes. You can connect with the management team of Franchiseindia Group at their respective LinkedIn ID. That's the information on your screen. Since it's Sunday and we always arrange 2 webinars for you where we try to give maximum information about the brand. So we are welcoming you for 3 p.m. Punjab and Haryana franchise show. Please do registration and witness how we are presenting you top 10 popular brands. You can select out of these top popular brands. Join us today for 3 p.m. webinar, and tomorrow we are inviting you for 12 p.m. webinar, which is scheduled at 12 p.m. and we are presenting the Crepe Cafe tomorrow. We are inviting all master franchisee partners. So if you are looking for master franchisee options, do join us tomorrow for this particular webinar. Crepe Cafe is the brand which is already present with 50 plus outlets across globe. So do not miss this chance. Please join us tomorrow for this particular webinar along with our today's 3 p.m. webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please take good care of your health. Stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, friends. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Good day.
Thank you.